I remember when I first started doing my English A-level, I was 16 years old, and we were studying a poem called The Other. And our English teacher was really valiantly trying to explain to us about the concept of the other, and in particular, the way that sexism others women and teaches them that they are apart from what is normal and treats them like second-class citizens. And hearing this, as a 16-year-old who's completely wrapped up in their own world and very cocky, and at this school that was an all-girls school that had kind of groomed us all for success and kept us shielded from a lot of the realities of sexism and structural prejudices and things like that. I remember just reacting to this like, this is irrelevant to me. I'm the star of the show here. There's no problems. And it's really funny because I think most people in their own head are perfectly normal to themselves. Of course they're not the other, but it's not necessarily you who gets to decide that.
My name's John Osborne, and there was a writer, a playwright, who was also called John Osborne, the angry young man. One of my first ever poetry gigs was in the Poetry Cafe in Covent Garden, and there was a lady there who came up to me after the gig, and she was a huge fan of John Osborne, like the other one, not me. And she came up to me and she said, if you want to be a writer, you have to change your name. Like it is an insult to the memory of the playwright John Osborne if you were using his name. He died in 1994 when I was 12. I don't think there's much chance of confusion. And I said, I want to write books in the future, and if I do write a book, I would like to be able to use my name. That's something that I'm very proud of. And also I said to her what I said to anyone who's ever sort of been confused by the fact that I'm called John Osborne. I tell them about this boy that I knew when I was at school, and he was called Michael Jackson. We were in the same chess club together when we were about 11 years old. And I've always been fascinated with that boy, because occasionally people do find it baffling that I have the same name as a playwright. He must get it all the time. I used to play chess with a boy called Michael Jackson. He wasn't very good at chess, but that was the least of his problems. And I've always felt sorry for him, unable to answer the most basic question. What's your name? Michael Jackson. Imagine the quips, especially now, but I thought you were dead. And when his internet breaks, he has to phone up the BT help desk. And they say, can I take your name? And he reluctantly says, Michael Jackson. And there's a pause as he says, yes, like the singer. No, you're not the first person to mention it. Yes, it can be a bit annoying. No, I don't know what my parents were thinking. I guess they weren't familiar with the Jackson 5. My dad works 55 hours a week as a neurosurgeon, and my mum is a full-time carer for her brother. They've been too busy to listen to disco. At the airport, the man in the passport booth says, can you do the moonwalk? And Michael Jackson says, no. I'm just going on holiday with my wife. What, Lisa Marie Presley? And he'll say, no. Her name is Anne. Anne Jackson. Try making a joke out of that. But there must be thousands of people who have to go through the same tedious conversations. People called James Bond and Harry Potter. People called Katie Price and Julia Roberts. People called John Lewis who have to say yes, like the department store. People called Steve Davis, Shane Ritchie, Michaela Strachan, Fred West, and little Michael Jackson who says, no, I'm not the singer. I'm just here for a game of chess.
How's the connection sound?
Okay. Well, my name is Michael Jackson.
My name is Mike Jackson.
Although I do normally refer to myself as Mike Jackson.
And I live in Western Massachusetts.
If you introduce yourself to someone as Michael Jackson, there is pretty much always a response. Mike Jackson, sometimes it seems to go over the head.
The the top one is always, can you moonwalk? And when I was a kid, I was very adamant that no, I can't, and I wasn't interested in learning how to, and I didn't particularly like Michael Jackson.
I got Jacko a lot, Wacko a lot, and I've been asked whether I can moonwalk many times, and I really can't.
Every round of major news story about him, I would brace for it because, it was kind of another round of teasing or ribbing around it.
You're completely helpless to whatever he does. Obviously, him being successful, that was great. I could be linked to that. But then when some kind of negative connotation comes in, I was certainly considering that I would almost certainly change my name.
It wasn't good. I mean, it wasn't good for him either, but it wasn't good for any of us other Michael Jacksons.
It was very strange to see my name and then the words "is dead" and hearing on the radio Michael Jackson has died.
Some sense of relief.
Very surreal, yeah.
Okay, well that's the end of, the bad news. I had a close friend who, when he heard, thought that I had died. And while it was very good to be able to set him straight, it was kind of a little triumph, I'm actually the Michael Jackson to at least one person.
The voices of Mike Jackson, and John Osborne. It's quite a fear of mine that someone in the future might emerge and become notorious who has my exact same name. And their status starts to affect my life completely beyond my control. I can be responsible for my own actions, but the idea that someone else, another Josie Long, might become some kind of horrible, outspoken shock media commentator, and she'd be more Googleable than me, and she would say horribly offensive things, and I'd have to keep saying to people, oh no, I'm not that one. Oh no, that's the other one. Oh no, I would never say that. No, please, come back. You have to understand.